athletic training, they set up food grab-and-go stations in our academic facilities for all athletes and at the cafeteria for all athletes. And it's made it a lot easier for people to quickly get food and be prepared for the day and have something to eat.
You're obviously the leading factor last year from the old defense, but this new 3-4 defense, 3-4 defense, has your position changed at all? Has your role changed much as opposed to what it was last year as middle linebacker?
You know, it's changed. It's a different defense. I don't have a set gap, and I also have it's more ebb and flow, fit what you need to fit based off of what the offense does and what your front does in front of you. So for a linebacker, it's a good defense to be in because I can make things happen. And also, theoretically, there's less running side to side because of the flanking outside linebackers that should turn the ball back in. But our defensive MO is to just run the ball and be physical regardless of where the ball is. So it doesn't matter. I'm still going to run wherever it is.
We hear so much about this being a line of scrimmage. So what exactly can a linebacker have a biggest impact in the SEC? How can a linebacker most impact a game?
With creating that big stop up front, like being that wall that is the front seven. So it's not an individual player, it's more of a defensive front seven that need to be like a wall. And Coach McIntyre talks about that a lot, building a wall that you can't run past, forcing the offense to do different things and get out of their comfortability zone. So it's been a situation where like I can impact as playing my part, and we all do our part, and we make a big impact.
So being in a 3-4 now, and in theory a linebacker-led defense, how does a linebacker-led defense do that?
By making the offense respect the integrity of our defense and making them block every run scheme they have as if we are in a bare front, like as if we have 5 down linemen, because those outside linebackers are such a presence, but they're not so much a presence that they can just pick up and throw the ball short. They're still there. It's just like they're in that intermediate zone where they can be everywhere, and it makes it really difficult for offenses to catch a beat, especially when you're bringing different people in pass drops and pass coverage. You're bringing someone else every time. They don't know who to expect. It's not the front four, and then you might have a guy you can obviously see who's coming. It looks like everybody might be coming.
Obviously, like you have the history of kind of being the field general, like the guy that a lot of the other defenders look to for communication and play calls and that kind of stuff. How do you see that role being for you in Coach McIntyre's defense?
It's really the same. It's just making sure. I've always taken it upon myself to try to do my best to make sure that everybody knows what the play call is, knows what to do, has the right call. Just communication is key, and that's something that has really been preached to from every coach. That's probably the biggest difference from college from high school to college. Just communication is so important. You can't just sit there and play football. You have to communicate. Everybody's got to be on the same page.
What do you need to have on your mind as the offense breaks the huddle and as they get set? What are you thinking about and looking at in how they align in order to get all the guys on the same page?
Well, and what I'm going to say is in part because Coach McIntyre has done a good job of making sure everybody knows the defense very well and can diagnose what's happening. So when we're not thinking about what to do for our call, once he calls it, we're now thinking about what the offense is doing, what's the down and distance, what have they been doing, like what are their tendencies, what are the possible plays that can run from this formation so that we can be more prepared for each play.
Kind of going off that a little bit, when you're practicing against Matt in the offense, what have you seen from him on, obviously you're thinking about defense, but what have you seen from him and how the offense has progressed and how he's built himself as a leader on that offensive side of the ball?
I mean, the offense has done very well. They're playing with a lot of young guys, and they've done a great job of building a foundation for the offense, and they're trying to test to see what they want to do, and they have a lot of things that are working very well. Coach Rich Rod's doing a great job there, and they just need to get a couple games under their belt, and they might be a force to reckon with.
So last year you had to play sideline to sideline. This year probably just hash marks to hash marks.
In theory, but I'm still trying to play sideline to sideline, regardless of the situation, who's on the field. Just giving my all every play.
So the guy next to you, we've seen so far this summer, you got the guy ready to play next to you on the weak side.
On the other inside linebacker?
Correct.
Yeah, Willie Hibbler's that #1 guy right now, followed closely, being chased by Jacquez Jones and by Lakia Henry. Those three guys they're all great players, and they're all coming along. You know, Lakia is going to get an opportunity. He didn't get to practice with us in the spring, obviously, but in fall camp, he's going to get an opportunity to really get his feet wet in the defense. And it's going to be a big rotation between the four of us, just making sure that there's always two fresh linebackers in the game that are ready to roll and know the defense. We're trying to play with 4 starters.
Who can play the other Mike besides you?
I know Lakia is just a jack right now. He's just the weak inside linebacker right now. But really, me, Willie Hibbler, and Jacquez Jones are interchangeable with Mike and Jack. We know both positions. We know the whole defense pretty well, and we're just trying to build on that knowledge to where if it's a man-down situation, if anyone steps down, somebody else is stepping up immediately, regardless of where he was before.
What's your impression of Lakia's physical ability?
Lakia's a hard worker. You know, he's really explosive. I haven't got to play football with him yet, but it seems like he's learning the defense pretty well. He's getting the basics down, the fundamentals down. But he's got good hands, fast hands, physical. See the physical when doing bag drills. So I'm excited for him.
Is your guys' confidence up now, and how did you get it up after such a dismal year last year?
I mean, well, everybody has down years, so we had a down year, and now the only place to go is up. So that, and we have a system where we feel like our team caters more to with the 3-4. Those guys that were playing defensive end are now playing outside linebacker, and that's where they really feel more at home. Everybody's feeling more at home at their positions. So it's just confidence both ways. Confidence knowing the only thing you can do is go up, knowing that we're going to come out swinging, and knowing that we're confident where we are.
How would you describe the differences between those two inside linebacker spots? How similar and different are those?
They're really very similar. The only difference is, like, I'm going to be to the 3 receiver side, but then if it's 2x2, I'm going to be more over the running back, which is still 3, and really going to be over the 2 receiver. But it's really interchangeable, really simple to learn. Coach McIntyre does a great job of making sure everything is simplified enough to get that base understanding to where you can build on that knowledge rather than just trying to take in all the information at once. And so it's pretty, they're pretty similar in that sense.
Do you think the 7-man front is going to be more effective against the run than what we've been playing?
I do, and that's not a knock to McGriff's defense. You know, every defense works for everybody. Different defenses work for different teams. Our team identity wasn't a 4-2-5, and that's not his fault. That's just the defense he carries. He'll be great where the next time he gets a coordinator job. But we feel very confident. We have the defense for the 3-4 scheme, especially up front. We got a lot of returning veterans on the D-line with Benito, Austin Robinson, Coatney, Josiah Coatney, Tariqus Tisdale. All those guys are great.
I heard Coach Luke can be very intense, especially on rivalry week. Is there any funny stories that you could tell us about just your experience with him?
Every experience is really just the way he gets pumped up for game days. Sometimes you don't know who's playing, us or him. He is intense. He is passionate. He just loves the game of football, and he loves Ole Miss. You know, so it's great to have a coach like that. It almost gives you an extra drive, because the coach shouldn't care about the game more than me. I should. So it gives the players a little more drive and passion.
The offense is in a 3-by-1, so then you would be matched up on the tight end, right? And then does that force you to be better against the run too? That would be a responsibility of Mike, has to be better against the run, or am I not really on track yet?
I mean, for the front 7, the ideal is run first. So we're going to play the run first, and we're going to try to stop the run this year. So that was an emphasis already.
These last 2 years, how challenging was it to find motivation or incentives when there's not a full season to play?
I mean, personally, I'm motivated by my our dreams and goals and doing the work that it requires to meet those dreams and goals. And that for me is playing in the NFL and being successful in the NFL. So like not having a bowl game, yeah, it's not ideal, but for a lot of the guys, like it is like in that fan vibe, like the fans are upset about it and they don't want to like sometimes they would like not show up to the games because it's tough as a fan to root for a team when you know they have nothing to root for, and then that trickles down to the players. But I mean, we have a great fan base, and they're really behind us this season, and they're excited for us. And I'm excited to see that first home game against Arkansas. I know they're going to show up.
Missouri is a team that this year that might be facing a postseason ban. Could you like give advice to how those players should handle that, not knowing what it's going to be like at the end of the year?
Yeah, and in January I got the opportunity to talk with Larry Roundtree, and again in July. He was talking to me about it. The whole team's upset about it, but I told him, man, like, you know what you're fighting for. You know you're trying to go play in the NFL, and to have a bowl game, it's like I said, it's not ideal, but at the end of the day, that's not your goal. Your goal, that's a season goal, but your end goal is bigger than that, bigger than just a bowl game. But it is tough blow to a season goal, because everybody's season goal is to play in the New Year's Six, and for that to get nipped in the bud, it's tough.
You guys are back up at 85 scholarships. I think there was a game or two in October last year where you're at like 59 or 60. Could y'all feel that, like the lack of depth as you got later into the year?
Of course you could, but I mean, that was just one of those things we had to deal with. Coach Luke has done a great job of recruiting and getting us back up to that big number. A lot of young guys that have a lot of talent and will grow to build this program up and build the culture. So yeah, it was tough. You could feel it, you could see it, especially we had an injury-riddled season last year, especially on the defensive side. But it was just one of those things you have to fight through, and the point of reference is the past, so it made us stronger.
And this is a different topic, but I know they've talked about mental health just this week. Can you talk about how that all plays into like just doing things like this, interacting with the media, and having to discuss, your season last year and going into this year?
I mean, yeah, it's tough to look back on that stuff, but you have to learn from it. Mental health has been a big topic in the SEC for some time now. Ever since I was introduced to the SEC Football Leadership Council, it's been a big topic of ours, talking about how we can make sure that every player knows their options to who they can contact and where the psychiatrist is on campus, or the psychologist, where the person that can help you if you have some depression, whether it's just general depression, whether it's outside of the sport of football, whether it's injury related, because injury depression is a big thing that a lot of players struggle with. It's hard to see like your dreams and you can't go after them because you just can't. And I struggled with that a little bit when I had my injury with my wrist, but my team helped me out a lot, helped me just get back comfortable, encouraged me to come back. Same thing with Jalen Jones. I know DeMarcus Lodge, well, when he broke his collarbone, he really went through it, but everybody on Miss was there for him, had his back, and that's been Commissioner Sankey's been trying to do a really great job of making sure everybody knows that someone has your back and that you're not alone. And it's been great.
Does interacting with the media make that any more difficult, I guess?
I mean, of course, because, the people are going to say what they want to say. A rival fan, anytime you tweet something, a rival fan will say, yeah, but you suck at football. And it's unnecessary, but, I mean, it's the limelight that we walked into. So just understanding how to handle it is key. And I think all the players in the SEC do a great job of handling that and not responding, and do a great job of taking the negative media as fire to their fuel to their fire, and not responding in a negative way.
Was there any thought to moving you outside, or did you kind of know day one that you were going to play inside?
I knew I was going to play an inside linebacker position. Outside linebackers are more that bigger build, 6'3" plus.
Almost like an end.
Almost like an end, but a little bit more athletic.
Right.
Can play in space more, and that's the type of ends we had. A little too small to be to be an SEC defensive end, but also very, very athletic. And so the outside linebacker position for them is perfect.
How much competitive is that inside linebacker room now with you and Willie and Jaquez and now with Kia all kind of competing for 2 spots?
It's very competitive, but that's how we want it. We want to have not 2 starters, but 4 interchangeable starters that anybody can play at any time and be 100% ready, so that we can rotate and stay fresh during the game, and the team feels as though our starters are in the entire game completely fresh.
We haven't gotten to see Kia yet. What's he like as a football player?
He's very, very competitive. I haven't gotten to see him play. Obviously, I haven't got to play with him, but he works hard. He's explosive. He's got powerful hands. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
How much responsibility does Coach McIntyre give you guys at that inside linebacker position to make checks or do anything like that pre-snap?
We have a good amount of responsibility. We haven't worked into that changing the calls yet. Right now, we're playing our calls, learning our calls, and all that. But talking with Cheetah Wuzie, I know that we do have that freedom. Like when he was under Coach McIntyre at Colorado, and Coach McIntyre makes sure we know what our defenses are and what they should be, and he tells us now, like, hey, if I ever call this call when they're in this formation, check out of it. And so, I mean, we do have that freedom, but right now we're really focusing on implementing the defense because we haven't gotten the season with him yet. We've just had the spring.
Who has the best shoe game on the team?
Oh, that's a good question. It's got to be. I knew who it would have been, but he graduated. He left. DeMarcus Lodge, man. He had Christian Louboutins, all that. But no, our guy Miles Hartsfield has some serious shoe.
Somebody said Matt Kells.
Matt Corral?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does have some good shoe game too. Him and Lodge were close. He had a lot of that, but you know, I see some of the guys with off-white Nike shoes on. I over here have team-issued shoes. I'm like, man, I step up my game.
So they're talking about the NCAA game being reinstated. If you're on that game, what would be your rating?
Honestly, I don't know. It's hard to answer that question. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what they would give me.
What would be your highest attribute?
Highest attribute? My highest attribute would be. Did they have? Did they have any mental attributes like awareness? Yeah, my awareness would be up there. I didn't know if they had that for the NCAA game too. I was young when that came out. But, yeah, I think awareness. I pride myself on my mental capacity when it comes to football.
We're talking fashion. Why'd you cut the blonde out?
I don't know. It was just time for it to go. You know, there's a lot of upkeep. I don't know. Maybe I'll grow it back, but right now I'm sticking with the short look for now.
Did you pick out that tie?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I went and got this a couple of days ago. I don't know.